2022 NCAA Study Guide. Anthem standoff, warn the head coach. If ejection is necessary, both the head coach and the offending players go. Backswing contact on a follow through by the batter. This is not interference, so don't say the word interference, just call it backswing contact. No runners may advance, including the batter runner if it's a drop strike three. If the base runner is retired anyways, then ignore the backswing contact. Bench jockeying. If you have a second ejection on the same team for bench jockeying, then the head coach has to go along with the offender after that, starting with the second time. A catch, the ball can't be trapped against the body, it has to show control in the hand or glove. Concussion, you can have a temporary sub for a player who's being checked on for concussion symptoms. That temporary sub may re-enter if the original concussed player comes back into the game and the temporary sub goes back to the bench. He still has eligibility to come back into the game later, but it has to be in that same spot for the formerly concussed player. Conferences carry over into extra innings. Unused ones do, and teams get one extra regardless of how many innings they play, just one extra, and it can include the coach. Warn them if they've reached the max number of conferences, and any players involved in any excess conferences have to be subbed out. The DH rule, if both the DH and the pitcher enter the game on defense, it opens up two lineup spots. The DH will stay in the same spot, but whatever defender he replaces, that'll be one lineup spot that's open. And now the former pitcher and the new pitcher can be put into either the spot where the defender was replaced by the DH or the spot of the defender that the old pitcher is taking over for. If the pitcher DH from a 9-man lineup is replaced only as a DH and stays as a pitcher, he cannot re-enter the lineup as either a DH or a fielder. He's exited the lineup and can't go back in. Ejections, throwing at a batter is an ejection plus 4-game suspension. The head coach will only be ejected if he had been warned, but it's an ejection and a 1-game suspension if he had been warned. One of the few times he can get a 1-game suspension. If you fight or charge the mound or charge the batter, even if a fight doesn't ensue from those two things, that's an ejection and a 4-game suspension. If you just leave the dugout or bullpen area during the fight, but you don't participate in it, that's still an ejection and a 1-game suspension. Post-participation will be, for a player or assistant coach, will be 2 games essentially. 1 game, the next game ejection, plus the 1-game suspension on top of that. Any suspended, ejected players must be out of sight and sound during that suspended game. A foul tip can be caught by the catcher after it hits any part of him now, not just the glove. Forced play slide rule. If the runner is safe at home but illegally slides and interferes with the catcher on a possible next play, the run does not count anymore, even though he was safe. If the runner is safe and maliciously contacts the catcher afterwards, the run does count. Intentionally drop fly, infield fly, the ball stays live. And you may not intentionally drop a bunt or batted ball with a runner at first and fewer than 2 outs. Interference, it has to be intentional by a live runner. If a double play is possible in order to get 2 outs, the runner and the batter runner will be out. If it's intentional or unintentional by the batter runner with a double play likely, then the batter runner and the runner closest to home will be out. Anything that's unintentional, where the ball hits the on-deck hitter or retired runner after they're heading towards a dugout, that will be nothing, ball stays live. Verbal interference exists. A runner hit with the ball while on base is out, except infield fly. Only intentional interference with a fielder while on the base will be penalized if he's standing on the base and the fielder runs into him. That's nothing unless it was intentional.